Welcome back to Heath's House, where we do a little bit of everything all the time, and it usually turns out right. I am just getting back from my trip to Africa with the Water Boys, where we were raising funds for clean water and accessible water for those in Africa. We had some great tours of some of the schools and villages where some of the wells have been installed. I'm going to post some pictures and a couple videos later on from those. But I was looking for a snack. We're going to have some friends over today. So whenever I'm in the grocery store, if they have lamb that's discounted on sale, I usually grab it and throw it in the freezer. This time I have some veal as well as lamb, and I have some spicy Italian sausage and regular Italian sausage. And I'm gonna mix all this up together and make some little merguez, which is these little sausage patties. And since I'm just getting back from Africa, I'm gonna use some of the seasoning that I had in my spice cabinet. It's North African heat. And so I'm gonna add that to this and make some nice spicy sausages for a snack today. First things first, I gotta cut all this up into chunks so I can run it through the grinder. So I'm gonna get all this meat cut off the bone. It's still slightly frozen, but that's okay. It's going through the grinder, so I'm just cutting it up into small chunks so it goes through the grinder easier. Bodie's wondering if I'm going to toss him any of the meat right now, aren't you, Bubbles? Alright, well, you know what they say about best laid plans, right? Started cutting up that other meat, and one of the pieces, I don't know which one, started to smell a little funny, so grossed me out and I threw it away. I usually make this with lamb, so I'm actually making it with some more pork right now, because it's what I had in the freezer. So I'm going to cut this up into chunks, and then we'll get it seasoned. All right, that's looking pretty tasty. Got this diced up. Now we're going to add some seasonings. Normally, I just do some cayenne pepper, chili, and cumin in it. But since I'm just getting back from Africa, I have some of this seasoning here, and it's a little bit spicy. But I'm going to put about a teaspoon of it in. So this is what I'm putting in. I put about a teaspoon in, and I'm going to put it in and stir it up before I grind it. That way it just goes through the meat even better. I am going to put a little bit of paprika too, like half a teaspoon. About a half teaspoon of garlic. And still going to put a little bit of chili and cumin in it as well. About a half a teaspoon of each. All right, now we're going to grind this up. Actually, before we grind, I'm going to cut this up and just run it all through so I only have to do it once. Everything's still slightly frozen. And forgot, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt to this. And just about a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. All right, I'm going to get the rest of this chunked up and then we'll start grinding. So I'm using a grinder today because I'm making a lot more than normal. But if you do a pound of lamb and a pound of Italian sausage with your seasonings, you can do it right in the food processor, and it works pretty well. You just grind up your lamb first and then add your sausage to it afterwards. Just mixing all this together so the seasonings and the sausage and the pork get mixed in. Then we'll run through the grinder once. All right, let's get started. Cody. Wait, right here. Get up for me. All right, we got it all ground up. And as you can see, that's just beautiful. By mixing the seasonings in and all the other sausages, all the meats together before grinding it, I don't even have to mix it now. It's all just already mixed. Now I'm gonna make some patties. Cover my cookie sheet with plastic wrap just to keep it from getting too dirty. Make cleanup easier. Normally, I just form these by hand and make little oblong sausages, but I'm gonna make some of my sourdough English muffins again, and I think these sausages on top of those English muffins will be a great brunch. So I'm gonna form some up using the same thing I'm gonna use for my English muffins, so they're the right size. Measure each of these out, so they're 2 ounces. I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking. Depending on how thick this is, once I push it down, I might end up making these 1 ounce. I just want them to be nice and light on top of that English muffin. Yeah, it's probably a bit too much. So it's about a 1/2 inch thick. So I'll make a couple like that, and then I'm gonna make the rest of them about 1 ounce. But this is the same process I use when I make my smoked hamburgers. But I do those at 4 ounces because 4 ounces is perfect hamburger size. All right, now I'm gonna go to 1 ounce ones, or close enough. Yeah, that's a good thickness right there. That would be perfect. And then after that, I normally just don't even measure, but need a little bit of water real quick. Got a little bit of water, put it under my hands. I normally just pull out what looks like a good bit. Then I kind of just roll it into an oblong patty, kind of like this. Any shape you want, really. And then I can freeze these. Just pack it in until it stays together. If it starts sticking to your hand, just put a little bit more water on it. They smell delicious. I'm gonna fry some of these up in a little bit. We got some friends coming over. It's gonna be a nice little snack. Might actually put it on top of some pizza too tonight. That'll be really good. Got them all formed up. We got the little oblong shapes, which are the easiest. And then I did some of these patties that I'm gonna use for brunch with the English muffins. So I think I'm gonna get some of these fried up real quick and try them out. And I used Beaver's small grinder today, which you saw just did a great job of getting this stuff ground up. I'm gonna get it cleaned up and throw all the scraps on this plate here because I'm fairly certain Bodie's gonna want to eat it. Oh yeah, Bodie's gonna definitely like this. There's not much left in here, but there's a little bit left in the grooves. I definitely think Bodie's probably glad I'm back home. It's a nice little snack for Bodie right there. All right, well, I'm heating up the cast iron pan. I'm gonna make some bags and backpack some of this up. So I'm not gonna use it all today. down to a nice little medium heat. Let's fry however many will fit. And I'll backpack the rest. One more. So I do these about 10 inches long because I make a lot of food for my aunt and uncle. I've actually made these in the past for them. I think I cooked them first because it's easier when they're on their boat traveling. But I make a lot of food and I pack it up for them, and they take it all over the world traveling in their boat and RV. And it's pretty cool because I get to follow along with them, and then when they eat their food, like they were in the inside passageway up in Alaska, I got to travel with them through my food, and that was awesome. But you can buy the pre-made quart bags, but the pre-made quart bags are about 10 inches. And doing it this way is way cheaper. Oh man, I wish you could smell this. It smells really good. Bodie is behind me. Oh, actually you can see him. He's sitting there drooling. He got some of the meat a couple times, and now he's pretty excited, but he doesn't get any more because he's got other scraps already. All right, what's the date today? 2nd. I put 6 per bag for these circle ones. And then I'll have to stop backing it so I don't smash them too much. So I'm gonna get all these backpacked real quick while the sausage is cooking. All right, so I got these backpacked. I got 5 bags left over. These smell delicious, and they smell kind of spicy, but not too bad, so. Got little green onions to go with them. But here you go. Usually, like I said, I make this with lamb, but for some reason today that lamb just smelled off. And it could just be my nose. I've been in a lot of dust for the past 2 weeks. But I wouldn't have eaten it if I made it when I thought it smelled bad at the beginning. So I switched to all pork, and it smells delicious right now. So I'm pretty excited. I have some guests coming over in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna get some stuff set up, and we're gonna have a good time today. Thanks for stopping into his house, where the back deck is always open and the food is always fresh. And I'm pretty excited to be back in America and looking forward to hanging out with some friends today. So I'll see y'all around, and stop by soon. Later.